time and cost for Baptist and patients.
Fully autonomous is you want minimal hand touches with zero harm or zero errors. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to support prescription fulfillment, inventory management, and actually we're going to have a robust call center that's going to help our patients.
With this new system, Baptist Health will be able to fill over 14,000 prescriptions every 10 hours. Those prescriptions will then go out to 9 regional Baptist Health hospitals.
We'll also be able to provide prescriptions conveniently by mail to our patients throughout the Commonwealth and Southern Indiana, which will be a first for Kentucky as well.
Gerard Coleman, the CEO of Baptist Health Louisville, says this facility will also provide better access to medications for complicated diseases such as cancer and neurological disorders.
Those prescription drugs traditionally take 14 days to fill at a traditional pharmacy. But because of this operation and because of the wonderful pharmacists and technologists that are working here, we'll be able to fulfill those limited access prescriptions in just 2 days.
The facility will officially begin shipping prescriptions by August. In LaGrange, I'm Addie Miners, WLKY News.
Thank you, Addie. And with this new facility, Baptist Health is working on a partnership program with Oldham County Schools to give students experience in the healthcare and pharmacy field. Construction got started today on the first Wawa location in Kentucky. This will be the first of 5 convenience stores built in the area by 2025. Each location will create about 40 jobs. Employees can take part in several benefits, including investing in the employee stock ownership plan.
It's one big happy family. We all get along. We're one big flock. We never let a man fall behind. We help pick them up and just grow people.
And Wawa plans to open as many as 40 stores across the state over the next decade. A popular convenience store gas station chain is ready to celebrate its second location in Kentucky. Buc-ee's announced today its store off I-65 in Smiths Grove will open on Monday, June 24th. This is video from the grand opening of its first store in Richmond in April of 2022. Buc-ee's is known for its Texas barbecue, beaver nuggets, and other treats, as well as boasting the world's cleanest bathrooms. And after a quiet afternoon, storm chances will be picking. You know, I've never been to a Buc-ee's, but I've heard.
I haven't either.
Well, I've heard that we should make a trip, maybe make it a story or something, and get some of those nuggets. But anyway, Jay, it's looked pretty cloudy today.
Yeah, lots of clouds out there. We had a couple of scattered showers this morning, midday, especially east and south of the metro. But overall, it's been fairly quiet. I think that will be changing as we roll deeper into the evening. We do have impact weather on the way as we move into tonight in the form of scattered showers and storms. And some of those will produce some locally heavy downpours. Moisture is full of, I should say the atmosphere is full of moisture, just like yesterday. If there is some good news to report, I am not expecting widespread severe weather. So let's get into it. Here's the radar. Yeah, still quiet around the metro. As a matter of fact, much of the viewing area is quiet at this 5 o'clock hour, but as you go a little bit farther off to the west and also the southwest, a scattering of showers and storms starting to grow upscale here, far southwestern Indiana, western portions of Kentucky, and you can see them stretched out from near Indy back into the Boot Hill of Missouri. Those are actually where a cold front is organizing. That front will continue to make steady progress off to the east, and that's what's going to bring us our wet weather chances for this Wednesday evening. Here's 6 o'clock on the Futurecast. Notice the showers and storms to the west of the metro, moving towards the metro by mid to late evening. And again, some of these will likely have some heavy downpours as they move on through. The cold front moves through just after midnight. That's when skies will be clearing. That's when beautiful weather will make a return. So your detailed 12-hour forecast. Again, we're going to hold in the low 80s through early evening. And then Jennifer, 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to see some scattered storms move into the metro and other portions of the viewing area as well. They'll stick around through midnight, maybe just after that with the impact weather. Then we dry the skies. We'll clear it out, too, as we settle back into the 60s by tomorrow morning. And that will be the start to some beautiful weather that's moving into the lower Ohio Valley. We'll talk more about that. We'll look ahead to the upcoming weekend. Jennifer, that's all next.
Sounds good, Jay. Thank you.
Sure.
Showing people another way. Still to come, we go along to see how a local program is offering hope to those struggling on the streets. Plus, ensuring access to contraception. Senate Democrats push for protections to allow for birth control measures. That's next on the News at 5.
You're watching WLKY News.
It's an election year, and that has many lawmakers working to get their colleagues on the record about issues they think will sway voters. Today, the Senate took up a measure to protect access to birth control, in part because Democrats see reproductive rights as a winning issue this fall. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Mr. Rounds, no.
Senate Republicans successfully blocked a bill that would ensure Americans have the right to access contraception.
Senator Markey's bill creates a precedent to mandate access to abortion drugs for women and girls of all ages.
Republicans say Democrats knew the bill would fail, but moved forward with it anyway.
This is just a show vote in anticipation of the election.
This is not a show vote. This is a show us who you are vote.
Republicans contend they're not opposed to contraception, but add they don't think the bill is necessary, saying no one is going after birth control.
The right to contraception is protected in the United States Constitution, according to the United States Supreme Court.
But in the Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that he wants to revisit the 1965 ruling guaranteeing the right to access contraception.
This extremist court put contraception on the chopping block.
2 weeks ago, former President Trump said in an interview with the CBS Pittsburgh station he would consider restrictions on contraception, then walk that back on social media the next day, saying he wouldn't ban birth control. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And Senate Democrats are also planning a vote soon on a bill that would establish a nationwide right to in vitro fertilization. Earlier this year, the Alabama State Supreme Court ruled that the destruction of embryos could be considered wrongful deaths. Jurors heard today from the ex-wife and ex-girlfriend of Hunter Biden. The women were called to testify about his drug problems. President Biden's son is on trial for lying about his drug use when he applied to buy a gun in 2018. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison. President Biden is in France tonight to mark a key turning point in World War II. He arrived in Paris on the eve of the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. Tomorrow, the president will visit hallowed ground near the beaches of Normandy. 2,500 American soldiers were killed there on D-Day. While in France, Mr. Biden will also meet with Ukraine's president and attend a state dinner hosted by the French president. An Italian court finds an American woman did slander a bar owner when she accused him of murder. Amanda Knox returned to Florence today to have the conviction removed from her record. She claims she was coerced by police to falsely identify her boss as a suspect in a 2007 murder of her British roommate. Knox won't go to prison, though. That's because she already spent nearly 4 years in custody for the high-profile murder before she was eventually exonerated. After 2 scrubbed attempts, Boeing has finally launched astronauts into space for the first time. This morning, Boeing's Starliner capsule blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center for its maiden voyage. 2 NASA test pilots are on their way to the International Space Station. They're expected to arrive tomorrow, will return to Earth next Friday. NASA has hired Boeing and SpaceX to ferry astronauts.
The reason they need this spacecraft is they want to have 2 independently developed ships, so that if something happens to, say, a SpaceX Crew Dragon where they can't fly, the Starliner is available, and vice versa.
And if the mission goes well, NASA plans to alternate between SpaceX and Boeing for flights beginning next year.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
All right, so far it has been quiet on this Wednesday late afternoon, but I think that's going to be changing the deeper we go into the evening. Right now, the radar scan is still clear around the metro, but we're heating it up now. We're back into the low 80s here in town and the better part of the viewing area. So now we're starting to see some of that moisture transform over to showers and storms as a cold front approaches. You can see the scattered showers running from, let's call it Jackson County on into Lawrence County, Orange County, and then back off towards the southwest into far southwestern Indiana and western portions of Kentucky. And this stuff is starting to increase in coverage, if you will, and move in our direction. So a little bit later on this evening, we too, much of the viewing area, will see a scattering of showers and storms. So impact weather on the way from mid to late evening. That's when we'll see the showers and storms rolling through. Those temperatures will likely be dropping back into the 70s as the rain moves through. By the way, I'm not expecting widespread severe weather, but locally heavy rainfall, perhaps some gusty winds on the table as that wet weather moves through. Well after midnight, the cold front will pass through and conditions will turn quiet once again. All right, in town right now, it is warm. It is muggy out there. The dew point in the upper 60s. Current temperatures 83 degrees with that humidity 61%, a southwest breeze at 13 miles an hour. Here's the big picture, and you can see we enjoyed some quiet time this afternoon. Had a couple of showers and rumbles of thunder, most notably east and south of the metro earlier in the day. Now the main show is developing just off to the west and northwest, and that's where the cold front is located. That will all be moving in our direction as we move through this Wednesday evening. Here's your futurecast, 6 o'clock. Still dry around town in much of the viewing area, but as the front approaches, here comes that batch of showers and storms rolling across the region as we shift through late evening through the early overnight. Then the front moves through. Say goodbye to the rain. By the time we wake up in the morning, we're talking about mainly clear skies. That humidity will be dropping off throughout the day tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon looks phenomenal right now with lots of sunshine, a westerly breeze, low humidities, and warm temperatures. Enjoy tomorrow. 85 degrees the expected high with that beautiful weather. As we look ahead on your 7-day forecast, take you through the weekend here. Friday, what a great day. High temperatures of 80, lots of sunshine. Weekend still looking great right now. A mix of clouds and sun. It's not going to be the brightest weekend in the world, Jennifer. Quite a few clouds will be passing through. Some of those clouds could shed a brief shower, maybe a sprinkle on Sunday, but there's going to be lots of dry time. Very comfortable with temperatures around 80. There are signs that late next week, that heat could really start building in. Maybe signs of our first heat wave on the way.
We are getting closer to summer.
That's right.
To actual summer. So,
that is correct.
All right, thank you, Jay. Sure. Well, eBay is making changes to how you buy goods on the online marketplace. Why it's cutting ties with one popular payment method. Plus, getting paid to play a video game. The unique job opportunity being offered by IKEA. That's next on the news at 5. And here's a look at your lottery jackpots. Tonight's Powerball is worth $185 million. And someone in Illinois won last night's $560 million Mega Millions drawing. So Friday's jackpot resets to $20 million. Well, Wall Street barreled to all-time highs as frenzy around AI technology sent stocks higher. The Dow was up 96 points. NASDAQ gained nearly 331 points, and the S&P added 62 points. A class action lawsuit is challenging health claims made by a prebiotic soda brand. The lawsuit alleges the amount of prebiotic fiber in a single can of Poppi isn't enough to produce meaningful gut health benefits. It claims a person would have to drink 4 or more cans to notice any benefits. However, those benefits would be offset by the drink's high sugar content. The Texas-based soda maker defended its product and calls the lawsuit baseless. eBay users will have one less method of payment on the online marketplace. eBay will no longer accept American Express. It cited what it calls, quote, unacceptably high fees when using the credit card. Amex takes a percentage of each transaction a merchant processes on their network. The company criticized the decision, though. The change will take effect in mid-August. A discount retailer is looking to save some money. Dollar Tree could sell on or spin off Family Dollar. Dollar Tree acquired the stores in 2015 for more than $8 billion in hopes it would help it compete with bigger rivals. But analysts say a combination of messy stores, high prices, and too much expansion plagued the chain. Spirit Airlines is trying to even the playing field with more flexible policies. The low-cost carrier is increasing checked bag weight allowance to 50 pounds and extending future travel vouchers expiration to 12 months. Spirit is trying to turn things around after a proposed merger with JetBlue was blocked by a federal court. The nation's largest private employer is offering new perks to keep its workers happy. Walmart is offering a bonus plan for roughly 700,000 part and full-time employees. They can earn up to $1,000 a year. The bonus is based on their store's performance and how long they've been with the company. Walmart is also launching a training program that will offer opportunities to move into skilled trade jobs. Well, IKEA is now hiring employees to work in a virtual store. The furniture chain needs workers for its store within the gaming platform Roblox. The so-called coworker game launches June 24th. New hires will be paid for their time on the game, helping customers and working in different parts of the store. The positions are remote, but here's the catch. You have to live in London, England. Thieves target a local addiction recovery center. How the crime is impacting services it provides to those trying to stay sober. And a woman is charged nearly 2 years after the death of a baby boy in her care. Why it took so long to make an arrest. Next at 5:30 on WLKY News.
You're watching WLKY News.
It will be my office's foremost endeavor in this case to try to hold the offender accountable and to try to obtain justice for this child.
Right now at 5:30, a 6-month-old baby dies, and now 2 years later, his babysitter is locked up facing charges. Brittany Baylor faced a judge in Clark County today for the death of a 6-month-old baby boy who was in her care. As Lauren Adams reports, despite the time, the boy's parents are grateful to learn she is finally behind bars.
Well, nearly 2 years after getting a phone call that changed everything, the parents of that little boy got another phone call Tuesday, letting them know Brittany Baylor had been arrested. Now living out of state, they watched via Zoom as she faced a judge today for the very first time.
Eris Edmondson was spoiled and loved on, rarely put down by his first-time parents, according to their lawyer. When he turned 6 months old, they put him in an in-home daycare in Jeffersonville in the trust of Brittany Baylor.
Eris had not been away from his parents in the 6 months of his life until that moment, that day. That was the first time that child had not been with mom and dad.
Just hours after dropping him off at Baylor's home on Red Hawk Ridge in July 2022, the little boy died at Norton Children's Hospital. 35-year-old Baylor is now charged with battery and neglect resulting in death. She said Eris had been throwing up and went limp, and a police officer attempting CPR dropped him. But a 2-year investigation involving multiple doctors revealed the injuries were much more serious.
The first thought is, just obviously sad, the fact that the child had to go through that, but a two-story fall, equivalent of a two-story fall is quite an impact.
Baylor's attorney said there was no direct link to her and the child's injuries, but prosecutors argued for $1 million bond and keeping her behind bars.
She is a danger to the community, Your Honor.
Prosecutors offered no apologies for the length of their investigation, saying they wanted to get it right and get justice for Eris.
With children especially, there's no one to speak for them or to help them. And as a prosecutor, it's very important that if this child has been illegally killed, that my office get the child justice.
In Clark County, Lauren Adams, WLKY News.